Hi, I'm Gabby Zeiss. Welcome to the first episode of Zesty Zeiss, and today I'm gonna be attempting to make gnocchi. So just a disclaimer, I have no professional training. I'm not a professional chef, but I am a home chef that just has a passion for food. I've been cooking ever since I was little. I started with my grandma and I still cook today. I love it, and so today I'm gonna be trying to make gnocchi for the first time. So for those of you that don't really know what gnocchi is a potato-based pasta, and for a home chef, it might seem kind of daunting to do this because making pasta by yourself is kind of a task in its own, but now you're including the potatoes in it, and gnocchi is pretty hard to make. You normally only get it at restaurants, so now making it at home could be kind of easy. We'll see. So gnocchi in Italian is translated into little lumps, which any of you that know gnocchi, it's not lumpy. It is like light, airy, fluffy, like little pillows, and they're also one of my favorite pastas. So these are the ingredients that we're gonna use to make gnocchi today, but first, we're gonna make a drink. So today I'm making an Italian margarita. I'm gonna drink mine while I'm cooking, because that's a lot more fun. You could use fresh squeezed oranges, but we all know no one's really got time for that. So I'm using orange juice, and then you're gonna need tequila, amaretto, and limes. That's it. All right, guys, we're gonna start off with 3 ounces of orange juice. To be completely honest, I have no idea how much that is. So I'm just gonna go for it. We're just gonna go like that much. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Next, you need 2 ounces of tequila. We're gonna do like 2 shots of this, roughly. I'm not a bartender, obviously. I'm just a 21-year-old who really likes to drink. So then you're gonna have an ounce of amaretto and put on one of those. Next, you're gonna get a lime. And then you're gonna juice that in there. Make sure you put your hand underneath so no seeds get in it. Perfect. I'm gonna do 2 because I really like lime. I like limey things. Now I'm gonna put this guy on, and I have ice in here too, and we're just gonna shake it. I think that's enough. All right, now we're just gonna pour it in our glass. Wow, that turned out actually like a perfect amount. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. All right. Oh, she's strong. It's good though. All right. All right, we got our drink. We got our tequila. Life is good. Let's get back to the ingredients for gnocchi. Potatoes and flour. That's all you're gonna need. But what's a good gnocchi without a good sauce? So today I'm making my dad's Famous Vodka Sauce that he normally does not share with anyone, so I'm breaking all kinds of rules by sharing it on the internet today. But the ingredients to make the sauce are gonna be onions, you're gonna need a 28-ounce can of tomatoes, and then just some heavy whipping cream. Make things more fun. My recipe calls for 1.5 pounds of potatoes. You can use whatever recipe you want, but my recipe you can find in the description below. So I measured out 1.5 pounds of potatoes. It didn't look like a lot. And people that I'm with, they eat a fuck ton. Like a lot. I put in 1 more because I know they like to eat. What you gotta do is you're gonna take a pot, a decent sized pot that you can add your potatoes in, and then it also can come to a boil without like overflowing and stuff. So you're gonna fill about 3/4 of the way with water, and then you're just gonna add your potatoes right into like non-boiling water, like so. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna put it on the stove on high heat. So it's gonna bring it to a boil, and then once it boils, you're just gonna reduce the heat so it goes onto a simmer. Cook it for about 15 minutes. You can check them here and there. You should be able to like pierce it with a fork. It should go in easily. After that, you're just gonna take it off and you're good to go. Going. So as a little added bonus, I am gonna be making a crusty bread that's inspired by one of like my favorite local restaurants. I don't have a recipe for it. I'm just kind of winging it because it's one of my favorite things. I thought it'd be really good with the gnocchi, just like a little side. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just creating a garlic infused oil to put on top of the bread once it's out of the oven and crispy. So for this, it's gonna be super easy. All we're gonna do is we're gonna take some garlic. You take a clove. And my philosophy on garlic is when you think you have enough, add 1 more because garlic is fantastic. I've also watched enough Food Network to know that all the professional chefs do this. You put it down and you hit it and you crush it, but I wasn't strong enough. Take all the peel off. I'm gonna crush mine again. And then you're just gonna chop it up. I'm gonna do mine a little like a rougher chop, so it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just going in the oil. So just gonna do it like that. So then you're gonna finish that out with the rest of the cloves, and I'm gonna add around, it just depends on how much you're making, but I'm gonna do it so it brushes it on a decent amount. So I'm gonna do probably about like half a cup of oil, just so it like bounces out with the garlic. So now we're just gonna take this, we're gonna let the garlic infuse into the oil so it's really yummy and garlicky when you put on the bread. So we're just gonna set it aside and let it be until we're ready for it at the end. Okay, so it's at a boil now. So now we're just gonna reduce it to a simmer and we're gonna let it cook for about 15 minutes. Okay, so while our potatoes are simmering, I'm gonna start prepping the raw ingredients for the sauce. So it's gonna start off with just some onions and garlic. So you're just gonna do half of an onion, and then you're just going to chop it into like little like cubes so they just cook down nicely. All right, and then you're gonna do a little like this. Gordon Ramsay taught me this. All right, and then you're just gonna cut down. And this is all my years of watching MasterChef just coming out. Okay, so it's gonna be cut like that. Now, we're gonna move on to our garlic. So the recipe that I'm using calls for 3, but I'm using 5 because I'm a garlic ass bitch and I love it. So I'm just gonna do the same thing we did before. We're gonna cut off the ends, peel it nicely. This one we're gonna cut a little bit different than the first time. Last time it was just for the oil, so we chopped it pretty roughly into bigger pieces. This one we're gonna mince, so it's gonna be pretty small, so it cooks nicely in the sauce. You don't get like, I do like big chunks of garlic, but not everyone does. Just chop it nicely like so. All right, and then I'm just gonna add all of this into a bowl. And then now it'll be ready for the sauce. All right, guys, it is time to make the sauce. So what we are going to do, we are going to light the stove. Beautiful. And then we're just gonna do a medium high. I'm adding some olive oil just to kind of coat the pan, generous amount. So you're gonna let that get hot, warm up. Should be to like a good smoking point. It'd be pretty hot for when your onions and garlic go in. A little trick that I have learned, that if you just add one piece of whatever you're cooking, and then when it starts to do that, you know it's ready. So now we are good to add all of the stuff. Perfect. It's what you're looking for, that nice like sizzle. We're gonna salt and pepper it. You can always add more salt at the end if it's not enough. Don't want to put too much in. Cracked pepper. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit. All right, so these should cook for about like 1 minute-ish. They'll get like the onions and garlic will get translucent. You'll know, they get a little soft. So it's starting to brown a little bit. So now, I'm going to add the crushed tomatoes. Beautiful. I'm gonna add a little water to it, but not a lot. Don't want to pour it all. I don't want your sauce to be too watery. Now I'm gonna add a teaspoon of sugar, just normal granulated sugar is perfect. Just a little bit of sweetness. Mix it up. You are gonna let this cook. I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more, so just a little like medium-low heat. So you're gonna want to make sure you don't have to stir it constantly, but you want to come back often to make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. So you want to swipe through. I like to make little S shapes and around, full circle, so it doesn't stick. And then you're just gonna let it sit and let it cook. All right, guys, so I just took a colander, drained my potatoes in the sink. So now it's time to peel them. To be completely honest, I've never peeled a potato that has been cooked. I normally do it before they are, but the recipe said to do it after. So I saw this hack a while ago, and it's to take one of the hot potatoes and put it in cold water, and the skin should come right off. So we're gonna try it today, see if it works, make my life easier. Also be careful because they are pretty hot. All right, so in the cold water, which, ooh. Oh my. Okay, it's okay. So also the cold water is nice because it makes the potato not hot. Okay. Wow, you're welcome, guys. I really did this for you. It's working so well. Okay, it's kind of slippery, but it is peeling. Look at that. That is fantastic. Look at that. One, done. Next one. Yeah, oh my God. Guys, highly suggest. 10 out of 10 would recommend. All right, guys, so I got the boiled and peeled potatoes. So I waited until they were a little bit warm so they didn't burn my hands. So the recipe says to use a food mill, but I know that no one has one of those. I don't have one, you don't have one, but we got a food processor. So I'm gonna put like 2 at a time because I want it to, they all have like the same consistency and not get like overworked and have too many in there. So when I do it, I want them to have like a mashed potato type texture is what I'm thinking is gonna work, but I'm not really sure, so we're gonna find out. We're just gonna go for it. All right, so we're gonna do 2 at a time. Also, I think I'm gonna pulse it to, oh, that's the wrong way. There we go. Okay, doing it more like that. All right, that looks good. This is like a mashed potato-like consistency. So it's gonna look like that. I need a spoon to get this out. All right, so I'm just taking it out, putting it on the counter, getting it ready. So it's pretty sticky, which I think is how it's supposed to be because, you know, potatoes are pretty starchy. So that's how I'm gonna do it. And then I'm gonna add flour so it creates a dough. So I'm gonna do the rest of them now. All right, cool. This one I left a little more like chunks in it so I can like work it a little bit more so it's not so like sticky. All right, guys, so I have my potato mixture. And so like I was saying before, so the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of flour, but I'm gonna do it in half cup increments. Depending on the potato, like it could just differ. So I'm just doing it in smaller increments just so I don't mess it up. I'm just gonna go for it, guys. So I'm just gonna start doing it like I would normal pasta, I guess. You know what, I'm having a good feeling. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna do another one. So now that's a cup of flour for 5 potatoes, which was a little bit over 1.5 pounds. So I'm working in all the flour now, but it's still pretty sticky. This is too sticky. I'm not liking that. So I'm gonna add, I don't think a full half cup. I'm just gonna start with that and see how that works. And to be honest, I'm not completely sure what kind of texture I'm looking for here. I'm just kind of going for it, winging it, see what happens. But it's really soft. It's very, very soft. All right, guys, so we have our little dough ball here. I separated it into 4s, so now I have the 1 of the 4ths. So now we're just gonna roll it out like you would when you were little, and you're just gonna make like a snake out of Play-Doh. That's basically all you're doing. So this is the point where you just wanna like work it out. This is the time it's just a little tedious because you wanna make sure they're all even so they cook even. Because if they're all different sizes, they're not gonna cook right. So make sure they're all the same size. So I'm gonna cut off the end, get rid of that guy. Now you're just gonna make your little pillows so they look like that. Ooh. So there we go. So now I'm gonna take the back of a fork, take one of my little pillows, and I'm going to just roll it down the fork like that. These are a little big. So we do this because these little grooves in it, it holds the sauce. And so when you're making your gnocchi and you have your sauce, you want it to stick. So you do it like that. Just do it with all of them and work through the rest of your dough. And then you have gnocchi. All right, now we're making our little bonus bread. So I'm just gonna cut it probably like 1/2 inch, maybe that thick. Yeah, like that. So I'm gonna cut a bunch of them. Like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just going to take my olive oil and garlic mixture I made before. I'm just take a little brush. I don't want the garlic on the bread because I don't want it to burn when it goes in the oven. I made that mistake, don't do it. I thought it tasted good, it wouldn't. Okay, so take your garlic oil because it's been sitting for a minute now. So you're just gonna brush it all on top. You should definitely see it. I like mine pretty oily. All right, so they should look like that. All right, and then put them in the oven, unbroil, and then they're gonna get nice and crispy. And then after that, I'll show you how to top them. All right, guys, so at this point, we have our gnocchi made, our water is boiling, sauce has been simmering for 15 minutes. So now at this point, all we left to do is to whip up some heavy cream, which is gonna make our sauce nice and creamy, and it's gonna be super yummy. So I'm just gonna eyeball. We're probably not gonna, I'm just gonna do the whole thing, whatever. So I'm doing the whole thing. I know we're not gonna use it all, but might as well make it all, because you never know. And also make sure this is cold. Obviously it helps it go faster. Also, if you do want this process to be faster, you can freeze the metal bowl and also your beaters. It does make it go faster, but I didn't do that. Okay, there we go. It's a very fancy beater. All right, and then you're just going to whip it up like you're making whipped cream. I'm gonna be doing this for a minute. We're getting somewhere. I have it on a low speed because I don't want it to splash, but it's splashing anyway, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong. See, I don't know why it's splashing. Okay, there we go. Let's go back down. Also wear an apron, unlike me. All right, so I have around 2 dozen gnocchi right here. Do it in smaller batches first so you can keep an eye on them. Okay, kind of slide them in. Don't burn yourself like I am. When they are ready, they will start to float. And when they float, they have to cook for an extra like 10 seconds. And then if I were you, I would sample one, because if they taste a little too floury, let them cook a little bit longer. If they start to fall apart, cook them a little bit less. So as you can see, they're starting to flow a little bit. So we're gonna let them cook for like a little, I'm gonna let mine cook for like 13, 14 extra seconds on top. So I'm kind of just eyeballing it here. So this is what they should look like around that. I'm just gonna take a slotted spoon, put them on a plate. Look at those, they're beautiful. Perfect, so they're gonna look like that. And I'm just gonna add them to the strainer over here so they get rid of all the excess water. And then we're gonna pop the rest in. So we mixed up the heavy whipping cream so it looks like whipped cream. And now what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take like blop, another blop, on there. All right, now you're just gonna fold it in. Like so, because you don't want it to lose its airiness. Thank you so much for joining me today on my little attempt to make gnocchi. I don't know about you, but I think it turned out fantastic. Recipe will be in the description below, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications. Manja manja.